Hi there. Welcome to my views and news. Thanks for joining the live chat session. Two main topics for you. Let me welcome the participants. Then we'll get going and we'll have an interactive session today because people said, Sajid, you should include the topic of Welkait and Raya too in today's live chat. People have some questions. They want to ask questions and they want to comment as well on the roadmap which has been circulated through unofficial sources in the social media about how to break the deadlock between Tigray and Amhara over Raya Alamata and Welkait. Klaus New, first one who commented today. Welcome, Klaus New. A name in Amharic. Screen name says, a colonel has been killed. Yes, I heard about that. News of the death of anyone should be very carefully published, I believe, because these people, whether from Fano side or military side, they have their families. Because I remember once I broke the news of the death of a Tigrayan military officer. He was in Tigray, his family was in the US, his family members contacted me. They were very worried. They were not in touch with the man. The man then turned out to be alive. The family suffered a lot while they were not in a position to contact the man, and I had broken the news about his death. My sources were mistaken, so I had to apologize to the family. We must be 100% sure before publishing the news of death of anyone. That is why I am not speaking about this colonel's death unless I have received confirmation from people close to these developments. Uh, Tafara joined too. He says hi, hi Yuni. Abjun Arage says hi. Nathnail Teklemariam Sajid, what's up, my friend? How are you? I'm fine, Nathnail. How are you? Nahom Architect says good evening. David Jigna here too. Mulugata Shemalas. Peace and love. A member joined. A warm welcome to you, peace and love. Special welcome to first member who joined today. Yam Dos. Uh, Assalamu alaikum says Abdi Shakur Ibrahim Yusuf. Yemane Gabramadan says, good to see you, Sajid. Good to see you too, Yemane. Drum says hi. Henge song photo hi says Chochota says hi, how are you? I'm fine. Daniel G says Tigray is always claiming land that does not belong to it. Yamdos Tigray Vallela. What's the meaning of your shirts that you are selling that says seeing is not believing? Well, that is just an idea that sometimes you don't know what is happening in people's hearts. You don't know what is happening in homes. Don't just believe what you see. Sometimes reality is deep inside, which is hidden from your eyes. Abdi Boro says, what is IMF's idea on Ethiopian aid? I'll respond to it. Tivolde says, hi, sir, wishes you best and wishes solution in the dead area. I back that. Ustaz Habib says, Ramadan Kareem. Happy Ramadan to you, to Ustaz Habib. Two main topics, viewers. Firstly, your questions about dispute over Volkait and Raya. A solution has been floated in the media. I did a video on that a few hours ago. Now I want to add a little about this solution. You can watch my previous video, which was about the solution. I spoke for around 10 minutes. But I want to add a little about this solution. And I'm open to your questions, comments. So, secondly, deadline for Ethiopia going to expire in coming hours. About deal tekem tafira hai to Ethiopia needs to strike a deal with IMF till 12 a.m. tonight. Where is IMF delegation? Is it still in Addis Ababa? Has Ethiopia IMF talk collapsed? What is happening? Kaliab Ejigo joined too. Welcome, Kaliab. Let me begin, viewers. If you haven't watched my previous video about the solution to Alamata quorum, Volkait the deadlock, please do watch it. I spoke in detail in that video. The solution being proposed is not new, but this solution was proposed by the federal government last year. And Tigray rejected this solution. Tigray opposed the idea of holding a referendum in disputed territories. It seems that Tigray has changed its position. It is backing down a little. Josie Joe, a new name for me. Welcome, Josie Joe. How are you? The Masfin Kebru here too says hi. I'll give this example of seeing is not believing some other time. Mike McConnell says salam, salam. I think you can find lots of examples if you just look around what is happening in your neighborhood, in your families, in your family, in your friend circles. Sometimes people suffer, they don't disclose, they don't show what they're going through. Uh, the solution was proposed by the federal government last year. Now, Tigray and Amhara representatives reportedly have agreed on this solution. Solution is simple: return of IDPs, disarming of militias in both zones, southern and western, election of new administration, handing over of administration to ENDF before the election, then election of representatives, and then holding of referendum. Simple solution, which we talked about last year too. But last year, that solution was proposed by the federal government. Though before that solution came to forefront, discussions were held between the federal government and Tigray representatives. But Tigray publicly rejected the solution, saying that the idea of referendum in these two zones was not acceptable. It said that referendum could be held after the regional council has been formed, it has approved, the temporary administration has no legal authority to approve the holding of referendum in these territories. But it seems that, and after that, we saw that this month, Tigray flexed military muscles. It sent its militias to Raya Alamata. There was a clash between Tigray fighters and Amhara militia members. Ethiopian military intervened. And after that, a meeting was held between Tigray and Amhara representative reportedly, and now they have agreed on this solution reportedly. Reportedly, nothing said publicly, officially so far. So what they have agreed on is that Guracha Bati joined to welcome Guracha, a member. So what they have agreed on is that you're not too late, Samuel. That IDPs from Tigray, Shire, etc., will start returning to these two zones. And IDPs, all IDPs, whether they are TDF members, whether they are police officials, whether they are ordinary civilians, they're allowed to return, but they won't be armed. They won't be allowed to welcome AZ King on joining the live chat session. AZ King is also a member. Warm welcome to you. They're not allowed to bring arms into the two zones. Firstly, Amhara militias will be disarmed, but they'll not be expelled. If the militia members are original residents of the two zones, they won't be expelled. They'll have to surrender their arms, they'll stay there, they'll reside in these two zones. Tigray will share lists of its IDPs to the Ethiopian National Defense Force. Then the process of return of IDPs will start. No restrictions, all IDPs can return. And then the governments, provisional governments in the two zones will cease to exist. ENDF will take charge. Elections will be held, or you can say people will choose representatives on Kabyle level, then on district level. And after that, the government will release budget for the two zones, federal government, obviously. And then last stage is holding of referendum, sorry. When will referendum be held? No one knows. When the time and situation are convenient for the holding of referendum. This is what has been proposed. What has been agreed reportedly. It means that Tigray has backed down a little. It is agreeing to the holding of referendum. Amhara militia members maybe are going to agree to be disarmed. Sitotayo Mesfin, new name for me. Warm welcome to you, Sitotayo Mesfin. But Amhara militia members won't be expelled. Now, what I want to say is that I think this entire process will take months, if not years. I mean, the two sides took around 17 months to agree on how to break this deadlock. Pretoria was signed in November 2022. March 2024 ending tonight. 17 months. And after 17 months, we're seeing start of the implementation of solution, which has not been formally owned by the two sides so far. Only social media posts, which are not being denied by the two sides. There is truth behind the social media reports reportedly. So it means that return of IDPs, disarming of militias, then election of new representatives. It will take time. It will take months, if not years. Then holding of referendum. It will take a long time. I am not sure that this I am a Romo says, come on, I am a Romo. Don't write any hateful comments. Ismail says, Sajid, do you have any news about Pakistan-India war? By the way, sometimes you ask questions about Pakistan-India relations, Pakistan-Afghanistan relations, or human rights abuses in Pakistan. And most of the time, they're not genuinely interested in knowing what is happening here. They just don't like me reporting about Ethiopia, about Eritrea. They don't want to divert me that I should just report about Pakistan. I'm not covering Pakistani politics, Pakistani foreign policy. I am not the right man to be asked if you want to know about Pakistan's foreign policy. My interest is in the Horn of Africa. Well, if you know about Pakistan, do tell me about that. So I think that this solution is going to take months. Maybe that is why Tigray has agreed that no one knows when referendum will be held. Maybe it will take a year, more than a year. So Tigray has agreed that at least return of IDPs should begin. Though last week Getachew was heard saying that IDPs will only return after Amhara forces, Eritrean forces leave the areas where IDPs are going to return to. But Amhara forces won't leave. They'll be disarmed only. They'll be disarmed, they'll be here if they are original residents of these two zones. No likelihood of Eritrea leaving territories. Eritrea says that Eritrean military is in Eritrean sovereign lands. It is not in control of even an inch of Ethiopian territory. So let's see what happens. I personally think that it's a good start. It should be welcomed by all the sides. Moni Moni here too. Welcome, Moni Moni, a member. Moni Moni, Easy King, Guracha, Peace and Love. Peace and Love was talking about Moni Moni yesterday. Uh, so hopefully the solution will be implemented. Tigray's incursion, ADF's incursion into Amhara controlled areas maybe set uh, things in motion, and after that the committee met and now some understandings had been reached, but still I would say it's a long way to go. It's a very sensitive issue, especially holding of referendum. So it will take months, and it won't be easy to implement this roadmap, which I spoke on in detail in the live chat, in the video, last video, and a few minutes ago as well. Thank you, Ambaccio, for buying this super chat sticker. He says, Ambacho says, are we doing this to see bloodshed between Tigray and Amhara? TPLF need to think twice before the bloodshed. Well, if a war breaks out, God forbid, if war breaks out between Tigray and Amhara, who is to blame? Abiy? Why shouldn't we blame the warring parties, Tigray and Amhara? If they don't show any flexibility, if they're not going to make any concessions, it means they are calling for this war. It means they want war. So why should we blame the federal government if the two sides are not ready to make any compromise? Both sides can avert a war. If suppose that Abiy federal government wants a war between Tigray and Amhara. So what should Tigray and Amhara do? They should avert this war by talking, by negotiating, by agreeing on a give and take solution. Problem is that the two sides are entrenched in their positions about the two zones, especially about Welkait. I wouldn't blame Abiy, I would blame the two sides. They should know how to resolve their issues. What will federal government do? Let's wait. Federal government proposed a solution last year. The same solution is being accepted by the two parties. Federal government, by the way, will be a key player. We cannot deny that because federal government will be implementing. Two committees will be formed. Federal government representatives, ENDF, will be observing, monitoring the developments. ENDF will be in charge in two areas. ENDF's role is very crucial, no doubt about that. But if ENDF, if federal government have any bad intentions, that can only be tackled by Tigray and Amhara leaders through effective communication and interaction for solution. Let's see. No chapter 4, the deal is not publicly announced. Ephraim Tesfaye says, Sajid, do you think it's realistically possible to find solution that satisfies Amhara and Tigray? Unfortunately, I'm not very optimistic. Well, solution can only be found if the two sides are ready to make some concessions. They'll have to make concessions. I don't think that Tigray's borders will be restored to pre-war position. Difficult, maybe difficult, I think. Tigray wants the restoration of borders to November 2020 position. Difficult now. Amhara forces want entire Welkait Raya Alamata. They want to remain connected with Eritrea. Muni Muni, you know who makes videos for views. Uh, Sometimes I receive information through people who I cannot disclose. So I have to make videos because to some extent I am able to confirm things. All day I see videos where people just make videos for views. Getachew meeting with Tigrayans, meeting with Eritreans. Mere Wadajo being treated. Thank you, Stars Abhi. Mere Wadajo being treated in Makale. Uh, Several colonels killed by Fano and several generals killed by Fano. All day people make such videos. Abiy is going to flee the country. India is going to collapse. I don't do this type of stuff. I verify to the best of my capabilities and then make videos. Sometimes I do make mistakes. Kira joined, to another member who joined today is Kira. Kira says that TPLF is not that stupid to even entertain the idea of referendum. I think that maybe uh, TPLF is going to agree to this solution now. Referendum will be held, we don't know when. Right now, TPLF wants its people to return to Maravulkaya Seg de Koram Alamata. If all Tigrayans return, maybe TPLF will be in a position to agree to the idea of referendum. Demographic balance will change. And these IDP, around 1 million, are definitely a burden for Tigray government, interim government. So, if you think from TPLF's perspective, maybe they want the start of this process. They want the process to start. And if they think that now demographically Tigrayans are in majority, they'll agree to a referendum. If Tigrayans are minority, they will not accept it. But their first priority maybe is that they want Amhara militias to be disarmed. They want their people to be back. And then they'll see what to do next. Mesfin Kibrusa, do you think Fano accept the solution? Yeah, it's a very important question. What will Fano groups do? I think when it comes to Volkait, a lot depends upon what Colonel Damak Zadu will do. If he rebels, it would be a big blow to this proposal. So far, he is not rebelling. He is there in charge of security there. But when the administration will be dismantled, what will he do? Will he call for help? Will he call Amhara groups for support? We'll have to see. I think Fano groups want to remain focused on Addis Ababa. They want to remove the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. Their eyes are on Addis Ababa. They don't want to be diverted. At the same time, they don't want to give Volkait to Tigray. This proposal isn't going to give Volkait to Tigray right now. Maybe when referendum is held after months or next year, then they'll see if they should intervene in Volkait or not. For the time being, I think Fano groups want to be focused on Addis Ababa. And by the way, if a solution is being floated, why shouldn't we back it? I mean, uh, why should we just dismiss these solutions as rumors while the solutions are not being rejected and dismissed by the two parties? We should back dialogue, we should back solutions. That is how things maybe will progress towards a peaceful solution. Otherwise, the two sides will head towards an armed escalation. So we should discourage armed escalation, and maybe we should welcome if solutions are being proposed. They should sit at the table. Process should start. At least process should start, and gradually maybe a solution will be found. Kira is talking about holding a referendum in Tigray to announce independence. Am I right, Kira? Bilal joined to another member. A little late, Bilal. Warm welcome to you. Well, yeah, let's see what opposition does tomorrow when Abiy wants to talk to opposition parties. Main opposition parties are boycotting Abiy's meeting reportedly. Professor Muir Agudina of Oromo Federalist Congress said that he wouldn't be going to Addis Ababa to meet with the Prime Minister. Yamasgan joined. Muni was missing him. Kira, I don't think that a referendum will be held in Tigray for secession. By the way, I think federal government of Ethiopia got assurance from TPLF that TPLF won't move for secession. If I remember correctly, that is what Ethiopian PM Abiy said at the parliament a few months ago. He said that the federal government in talks with TPLF got this assurance from TPLF that TPLF would drop the idea of secession. And at this point of time, secession isn't going to be a right move for Tigray. Tigray already losing international allies. Its new position about new arrangement to demarcate the border with Eritrea is not gaining any international acceptance. Idea of holding a referendum will make TPLF lose more international support, I think. The Fox says, Sajid, some people don't want peace between Amhara and Tigray. If they know that some people don't want peace between them, what should they do? They should work for peace. Moni Moni, what about the IMF Ethiopian government talks? I know you have some sources. I know you have been part of some high level meetings. Deadline about to expire. Let me come to the second news story. By uh, midnight on Sunday, Ethiopia must reach a staff level agreement with the IMF. That is what was demanded by international creditors. Yes, I am fasting, Ismail. When Paris Club members, other countries gave loan repayment relief to Ethiopia a few months ago, those countries said that by 31st of March, Ethiopia must reach a staff level agreement with the IMF for the concession to be available. Ethiopia got relief for 2 years, I think, when the Paris Club members, other countries announced the relief a few months ago. Now we know that a top IMF delegation is in Addis Ababa. It arrived, I think, more than a week ago. Talks being held. We could not confirm any. Uh, uh, I know, Muni, what you do. So the meetings ongoing. So far, no agreement reached. At the same time, uh, the talks have not collapsed. If Ethiopia fails to secure an agreement with IMF, what will the creditors do? Will they suspend the concession given to Ethiopian government? If it happens, it would be a huge blow to Ethiopian economy, Ethiopian government. So coming hours crucial. I think deadline is going to expire, and tomorrow things will be clear. Happy Easter from Germany. Shafo is saying, welcome, Shafo. Well. Another member who joined today is Shafo. Hira is not sure about Fano if it would accept the agreement or not. Let's see. I mean, if Damak Zadu accepts the agreement, then Gondar Fano will have no justification to intervene in Volkait. Whatever says, Sajid, why are you quiet about Addis Ababa destruction by Abiy Ahmed? Well, you people call it destruction. He calls it development. He says that he wants to build Addis Ababa like a modern city, and the lands encroached are being recovered. So it's not that simple, I would say. Yoon is asking about Fano's capabilities to prevent Tigray from taking Welkait Raya. TDF, whether TDF has the capability or not, Fano groups, I believe, want to remain focused on the removal of Abiy's government. They know, by the way, if they intervene in Welkait and Raya, their fight against federal government will come to an end. It would be difficult for them then to move or to think of moving towards the capital. It amounts to opening multiple fronts. They don't want to wage a war against Tigray now. They'll try to avert this war. I don't know about 300 diplomats who have betrayed the government. I don't know, Yamaskan. Ismail is lecturing me about religion, saying I should go to mosque for last 10 days of Ramadan. Ramadan shouldn't be a special month for anyone. You are what you are. You are what you were before Ramadan, and you'll be what uh, you were before Ramadan. Ramadan cannot transform anyone. Uh, 30 days cannot transform anyone. So just think that how to be answerable to the Almighty will be held accountable for what we're doing. That is what should keep us on the right track. These months come, you fast, it does not mean that you should leave everything just because you're fasting, just because there is Ramadan. Moni has been fasting in Ramadan for 30 years. And maybe it's good for health too. I mean, keeping the spiritual side, religious side aside, I believe that fasting is good for your health. Chafo says, why do you think is Abi's regime destroying Addis Ababa? Well, Shafo, I think there are conflicting arguments about what is happening in Addis Ababa. The Abi's government believes that they should build a modern city. They should recover the encroached lands. They should build the city according to a plan. But the other side says that Amharas are being expelled, their homes are being destroyed. But the government does have a plan to build a modern city, but no plan for those who are being displaced. Mr. G says the best solution in the two zones is to self-administration. Self-administer like they were, the government will not give Volca to Tigray. Let's see. So far, the process is going to start. Fox says, if Fano take control of Bahirdar, is it game over for Amhara PP? Uh, can Fano take over Bahirdar now, by the way, and remain in control of Bahirdar? No, it cannot. It is not in a position to take control of any major town cities. It can carry out attacks, probing attacks, incursions, ambush, target killing, but not in a position to seize major towns. If Fano fighters enhance the capabilities and they seize Bahirdar and they have the capability to be there for days and weeks, obviously PP will collapse in the Amhara region. My God, can you say that Volkait is just desert-like land? Well, I heard that this area is very fertile. That is one of the reasons behind the fight for the control of this fertile territory. And he's saying it's a desert-like area. Is entire Volkai, Tumara Sag, the fertile? I don't think so. Desert, what you're saying? I think it's a fertile area. Moni, don't pull the leg of Yamasgan. He is very caring about his family. We should appreciate, I think, that he is very caring about his baby. Kaliab is talking about boycott. Why are you encouraging to boycott? I think he's saying that I shouldn't urge opposition parties to boycott meeting with Abiy. Well, the format for me does not make sense. Opposition party workers being trained by the government does not make sense. Opposition and government negotiate, sit on the equal footing. Opposition has a major role in democracy, though this role is denied in Ethiopia. And by attending these talks, the opposition will legitimize PM Abiy's government, and the man will show to international community that he and opposition are in talks and is running the affairs of the government, taking opposition on board, which is not the case. He is not giving any space to opposition parties. Opposition politicians are on the run. Where is Jawar? Where is Bekle Garba? Are opposition parties allowed to hold party meetings, rallies? No. Why should they legitimize the government? That is why I believe opposition party should boycott Monday's meetings. We'll see tomorrow what happens. Mikhail Sajid, any update on the withdrawal of Eritrea from Tigray territories? Eritrea says its military is on Eritrean sovereign land. It is not in control of even an inch of any other country's land. So, no question of their withdrawal. Why don't you criticize US intervention? In Ethiopia, Haya is saying I should criticize US intervention. I do, by the way. If you remember, I've been saying that US is everywhere in Ethiopia. Talks between uh, TPLF and Ethiopian federal government, mediated by US. Talks between government and OLA, mediated by US. And a few days ago, I think last week, Amhara leaders held meetings at US Embassy in Addis Ababa. I criticized that, but that is what is happening in Ethiopia. If you're not able to resolve your issues, to solve your problems on your own, then obviously outsiders will intervene. Angasa Tisfaye says Abiy's agenda is make Ethiopia great again. Am I right? Maybe you are right if you believe that. But Abiy, by the way, it was the 2nd of April 2018 when Abiy came to power. And after 24 hours, Abiy will complete 6 year tenure, not tenure, 6 years in office. So, do you think Ethiopia is a better country if you compare today's Ethiopia and 2017 Ethiopia? Is it stronger militarily, economically, in terms of its clout in the region, in the world? Is Ethiopia more united now? Well, it's up to you to decide. I don't see any significant change in the lives of Ethiopians or in Ethiopia's strength economically, militarily, or in terms of its regional clout. I'll do a video tomorrow if I got some time to speak in detail about Pimabi's 6 year rule. I would call it rule, by the way, because opposition, what he promised in 2018 could not be delivered by him. People had dreams of reforms, of democracy, of prosperity, of reconciliation. His start was not bad, but I think then things went wrong. I think I'll do a video tomorrow, hopefully. 47 minutes have passed. I think we should end this live chat session. Always good to be with you in live chats. Abdul Qadir joined just now when we're going to end live chat. Thank you for becoming part of this wonderful session. It was good to talk to you. We talked about the proposed solution to end the deadlock with Welkait and Raya. My analysis is that this solution will take months, if not years. Maybe Tigray has shown some flexibility. Why? Because it knows that its first priority is the return of IDPs. And then it will see if it should agree to the idea of referendum, the later stage or not. Secondly, the deadline for Ethiopia to reach an agreement with IMF is going to expire after a few hours. What will happen next? We'll see tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Thank you for becoming part of this wonderful live chat session. Stay blessed. See you tomorrow. Till then, bye bye.